adaptations of Broadway musicals in this day and age are a hot topic, partly because there's a lot of people who really enjoy them, and partly because there seems to be even more people who absolutely hate them. On the other hand, a lot of people do enjoy musicals, but even then, there is still some controversy because so many of these adaptations just fall flat. They don't have the energy or the soul of the Broadway production, and it ends up just being this very bland, stale, sad little thing that no one really wants to watch and they'd rather forget. And I think the main sticking point for these musicals is the balance between theater and film. So many of these adaptations take the theater out of the musical theater, and it doesn't play off well because these songs and the story was not designed for film. It's really hard, it seems, for the film industry to get this balance between theater and film correct. The proportions almost always seem to be just a little bit wrong when it comes to bringing something from the stage to the big screen. And that's understandable because it's a very tall task. A lot of them take themselves too seriously and don't acknowledge that they're a musical. So when people start singing, it feels awkward or just like jarring, and it just doesn't mesh well with the vibe that they're going for. And we see this in so many of these remakes. Don't get me wrong, there's really good ones as well. Really well done film adaptations. One of the best examples, in my opinion, is Cinderella and the Real People. Hi lovelies, welcome back to the channel. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, I've heard of Cinderella, and I know there's a Broadway version, but I don't think I've heard of Cinderella and the Real People. Well, you have. Impossible. When me and my sisters were younger, we only knew of like the animated Cinderella, so when we saw the Rodgers and Hammerstein's film adaptation of their Broadway musical, we didn't call it Cinderella, we called it Cinderella and the Real People because there were real people, and I unironically call it that to this day. It is just gorgeous. If you have not seen it, I beg you, please take the time to go find this and watch it. I don't care if you don't even like musicals, please watch it. It is so good. It is literally one of my comfort movies because it is just so magical. It absolutely 100% captures everything that the story of Cinderella and that a musical is supposed to be. It is fantastical, it is colorful, it is full of life, and it just does a wonderful job of bringing new energy to a tale as old as time. All the dreamers in the world are dizzy in the noodle.
That's terrible. You try coming up with a rhyme on the spot like that.
So, fun fact, if you've seen the new Descendants, you'll probably recognize Cinderella and our Prince Charming. They brought them back in Descendants to play Cinderella and Prince Charming, and it almost made me cry because I love them so much. That's my Cinderella and Prince Charming. Oh my god. I wish they were in the movie more, but it's okay.
Are you all right, miss?
Yes, I'm fine, I think. Thanks. Thanks for your help.
One thing I absolutely adore about this cast is how perfect each person is for their role. All of them absolutely understood the assignment when it came to balancing the theater portion of this with the film portion of this. All of these characters are so incredibly larger than life, but at the same time, they take themselves so seriously. And I love that it was cast like a theater production. It wasn't cast like a movie, if that makes sense. Look at this incredible cast. It is absolutely stellar, stunning, gorgeous, lovely. One of the first things you notice when starting this film is the costumes. Oh my god, the costumes. There is so much that is said within the first like 5 seconds of looking at this film just because of the way they have presented these characters. We know exactly what's going on immediately. Look at the textures, look at the colors, look at the designs, for crying out loud. Are they not just the most intriguing and interesting and eye-catching pieces that you've ever seen? And it fits the story as well. And it is played up, obviously. They're supposed to look a little silly, specifically the stepsisters and the stepmother. But at the same time, these characters take themselves so seriously that you believe that that's something that someone would wear. Specifically, that these people would wear.
What do you think, Mother? I saw it first. How do you think it looks on me, Mother?
And it's so much fun, and you just don't see that a lot. So many times in films, people's wardrobes is so realistic, even in like fantasy or like even in the Star Wars universe. Unless you're Padme Amidala, you're not dressing crazy. Like, you have some pretty standard clothes that people would probably wear here on Earth. But in this fantasy world that they're creating for this movie, all fashion rules of our universe are out the window. And it adds this wonderful character. It makes the costumes part of the story rather than just, you know, something that a character's wearing. I think costumes specifically for musicals should be a bit more over the top, should be a bit more flashy and showy. Because why not? We're already singing in the middle of a story. Why shouldn't we just have the craziest costumes in the world? I love it. And it's not just the main characters who have incredible costumes. Look anywhere in any scene in the background, specifically when we see like the townspeople and stuff. Look at how they're dressed. They're all styled. They're all gorgeous. Look at the layers and the textures and the colors. It's all uniform since they're like background, but it's also all unique, and it gives the town such life. It makes it feel like these are real people living their real lives and not just, you know, background noise.
Mother, you're hurting me. Beauty knows no pain, girls.
My second favorite thing in this movie is the setting and the props. I just need you to admire some of these settings real quick. Look at these sets. They are gorgeous. They are so quaint and lovely and perfect. And like, it looks like a real town. It looks so inviting and real, and like, I want to go there. I want to visit this town. It looks gorgeous. And like the castle, oh my goodness. Even their house is such a like magical, whimsical looking house. There was so much time put in to all of that to make it look so incredibly gorgeous. It wasn't this like sterile, plain, hyper realistic setting. It is a very, very fairy tale-esque like environment. And the props, I love. My favorite prop is this cake, this guy carrying this cake. Another thing I love about this film is that it doesn't take itself too seriously. It acknowledges that it's a musical and that it is a production, and it doesn't try to be anything else. And I think it's really important that the film takes this stance because it makes the musical numbers so much bigger and so much grander because they're not worried about it being realistic. It's a production. People are dancing. People are carrying ridiculously sized cakes and tipping them sideways. People are tossing bottles of wine, you know, like, it doesn't feel out of place. At no point are you like, I don't think people in this world would do that. The people in this world would absolutely do that, and they clearly do this often because they have it down.
So this is love.
I love this cake. My second favorite musical number is the ballroom scene. Anytime I watch a movie and there is a ballroom scene, like where people are actually supposed to be dancing or whatever, This is what I expect to see. I'm always slightly disappointed because this is what I expect to see every single time. Look at those gowns. Look at the choreography. Look at the cinematography. Okay, I'll admit, the part where we're just spinning around Cinderella and Prince Charming, that makes me dizzy every time. That part, maybe we didn't need to spin so long. But the rest of this is absolutely gorgeous. Look at how gorgeous it is. Look at how breathtaking it is. I absolutely look at how they're using their skirts as, oh my god. I don't even know who choreographed this, like the piece or the movie in general, but they did an absolutely stellar job. I am in love with them.
So this is love.
My other favorite musical number is, okay, actually they're all my favorite. I literally, the last time I watched this movie, I was watching it with a friend who had never seen it before, and every single time someone started singing, I was like, wait, no, this one's my favorite. Like Paige, this one's my favorite. This one's the best one. With every single one of them, because they all are the best ones.
What's the matter with me? You think after 600 years?
Admittedly, a lot of the special effects are a bit dated, but I think it just adds to the charm of the film at this point. Because obviously they weren't always outdated, but that pumpkin scene scares me even to this day. It's kind of gross.
Things are happening every day.
Honestly, the biggest tragedy of this movie is the fact that Whitney Houston's and Brandy's like licensors or teams or whatever could not agree on who got to license the music, I think it was. And so we can't find any of the songs from the movie on like any streaming platform because they just couldn't agree on who got the rights to it. And that's devastating because as much as I do love the Broadway version that's like on Spotify and everywhere, oh, these ones have my heart. This is what I grew up on. Ugh. It is a tragedy. It is a real tragedy.
I probably should not interfere.
Probably.
The characters are also just so incredible. I love all of them. I'm not gonna say any of the characters are crazy like for a Cinderella story because most of the time the stepsisters are a bit
Well, first I flutter my eyelashes. I'm going to start with a curtsy.
unique, and the stepmother is
Move over.
I mean, are there any other young women in the house?
How young?
lovely in her own way. It's interesting because while the production doesn't take itself too seriously and acknowledges that it's a production, obviously the characters aren't aware that this is a movie or a musical. They are just living their lives. They are so grounded in this whimsical world that they live in, and it adds to the magic.
What's your name?
Cinderella.
Beg your pardon?
I like to sit by the fire and the cinders fly in.
Cinderella.
Also, like, I've seen almost every single adaptation of Cinderella that's out there, and I think this is the only one where I truly am rooting for Cinderella and the prince. Not that I'm rooting against them in any of the other ones necessarily, but like this one, it's like, wow. They're in love. He loves her. She loves him. They're so perfect.
You know, the trouble with most people is they sit around wishing for something to happen instead of just doing something about it.
You're right.
Oh my god. Like, this one to me is more magical than the Disney, like the original Disney one. It is full of so much humor and love and life and joy. There's so much soul to it that so many of these newer adaptations tend to lack for whatever reason. And it is just the pinnacle of what an adaptation from Broadway should look like. I cannot recommend this movie enough. Please, for the love of God, if you enjoy musicals in the slightest, go watch it. I promise you will not regret it. It is so perfect. Anyways, I know this video was a little shorter than my usual stuff. I just wanted to come on here and brag about my favorite musical because I watched it recently and I was like, oh my god, I love it, and I needed you guys to love it too. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, feel free to click the like and subscribe button below, and I will see you next time. Bye, lovelies.
Here we go.
So I'm gonna get it.